So you found your ideal new career, developed your skills, and started building a portfolio of work. So why do you suddenly feel ravaged by doubts? It's time to talk about imposter syndrome. Welcome to Career Ending Opportunities, where every week we look at ways to change career and find personal and financial fulfillment in everything we do. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Right, let's get started. The feeling of not being good enough, a feeling that you don't know what you're doing and comparing yourself to others is imposter syndrome, and it's a real pain in the ass. And it's really important to know how to spot it so that when it does hit, you know, or you recognize it and you know how to handle it. In Valerie Young's book, The Secret Thoughts of Successful Women, Why Capable People Suffer Imposter Syndrome and How to Thrive in It. I think that's right, it's a long title, I'll put it here. She identifies 5 subgroups of people: the perfectionist, the superperson, the natural genius, the soloist, and the last one I forgot, I nearly got through all of them, the expert. I have it in notes just down here. We'll run through them briefly. The perfectionist sets extremely high and unreasonable standards for themselves. The superperson expects to work harder than everyone around them to achieve the same thing. The natural genius is normally good at everything they try. I have a few friends like that, and they're infuriating because they are so good first time out. So that when people in this subgroup have to work hard to succeed, they feel like an imposter. If they're not naturally good at it, they find that they can't be good enough. And that's normally wrong. The soloist feels like they have to do everything themselves, like they can't outsource any task and can't ask for help. They feel like they have to study and achieve everything on their own. And the expert is someone that will over-study and learn 100% of a subject before they actually start working on it. For example, you can watch all of the videos on YouTube in your niche, and still achieve nothing. And if you're the expert, that's the category you may fall into, that you are paralyzed by analysis and looking at ways you should be doing it rather than actually doing it. Comment below with which category you think you fall into. Step 2, know what you're looking for. Much like the old trope of admitting you have a problem is the first step to recovery, realizing that you've slipped into this bubble of imposter syndrome will really help you fight your way out of it. So what does imposter syndrome look like close up? Well, it can reveal itself in a few ways. It can leave you feeling like your success is based on luck and not talent, and that your skills will never be good enough to succeed. It can leave you feeling like your success is based on luck and not hard work or talent. It can leave you to feel that your skills will never be good enough for you to succeed. The irony is that you normally have to have some success in the field to realize that you don't know everything about the field. I haven't read anything about this, but I do wonder if imposter syndrome ties in with the Dunning-Kruger effect, which, if you haven't heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect, hypothesizes that the less you know about something, the less likely you are to know how little you know about that thing. So for example, you start writing your very first program. You write a Hello World application in any language, preferably Swift, because it's the best. And you think all of a sudden this programming game is easy. It took me 2 seconds to write when you're new. It took 5 minutes to write a Hello World app that prints Hello World on the screen when you launch the app. Yay, you did it. You know how to build apps. But as you start working on the next Facebook, you realize that there's a lot I don't know about this. There are huge areas that I didn't know. It's that unknowns quote. I'm going to do a whole video on Dunning-Kruger because I find it fascinating. Step 3 is identifying the source. Have you taught yourself something new, or have you picked up a hobby from years ago that you're now trying to be successful with, or been offered a job or a promotion that you don't think you're up to? There are so many things that can trigger imposter syndrome. For me, I had a bout of the imposter syndrome blues the very first time I submitted code for review when I was doing a freelance gig. I sent off my code and genuinely had a sleepless night worrying about if my code was good enough, if I was going to get ridiculed, should I be doing this, should I have withdrawn from the contract, and I often still get that feeling each time I hit submit for review on the App Store as my code goes off to Apple for review for a new app or for an update. I still get that feeling of dread and thinking, is this good enough? Am I worthy to create apps and call myself a programmer? I've often experienced this in the flight deck as well, especially after becoming a captain, after spending 10 years as a first officer, and then changing seats to becoming a captain, you suddenly take on all the responsibility and legal culpability. So there are instances where it's very easy to feel uncomfortable with the decisions that you're making. One example of this was when I refused to take an aircraft flying because I knew that it wasn't legal to go flying. I knew that the defects that it had, the bits that were broken, meant that within the law you couldn't actually take the aircraft flying. Now the aircraft may have been perfectly safe, but the law is the law. And just like I don't break any of the laws and fly dangerously, I also won't take an aircraft flying if I know that it's not legal to be in the air. And I'd sat in the right-hand seat as a first officer. Captain sits on the left, first officer sits on the right. I'd sat in the right-hand seat for years and said, oh, it's an easy decision to say, I'm not taking that aircraft. No, the aircraft's not fit. But when it's you in the seat, you suddenly realize, or you suddenly start thinking, oh, is this the right decision? Am I making the right decision? Should I be making this decision? And it made me review my decision and start to wonder, was I right for the job at that point? And of course, with 2020 hindsight, it was the perfect decision to make. Got the aircraft fixed, and then you can dispatch, and you're all nicely within the law doing your job as a professional. Of course, 2020 hindsight is great for reviewing how imposter syndrome was completely pointless and a waste of your energy. Step number 4, the quick and easy solution. Yeah, no, there isn't one. Sorry to break it to you. There is no quick and easy solution to imposter syndrome. It sneaks up on everyone. I've spoken to podcasters who are incredibly successful who still say every now and then they wonder who are they to be offering this advice? What have they done other than life experience? What qualifies them to give advice? And of course they are qualified, but it sneaks up on everyone. That's the point, is that everyone feels it at some point. And in reality, the cure is simply to ignore it. But of course that is infinitely easier to say than it is to actually pull off in the real world. This multi-stage career change and YouTube experience has encouraged me to really stop and look at the anxieties that I have and things that I struggle with in both professional and personal life. And I think it's worth taking some time to do that yourself. So take the time to write down your doubts and do it in a question form, Jeopardy style. Am I good enough? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do this professionally? Is this something that I will enjoy when it becomes a job and not a hobby? In addition to writing down the things that scare you or that are challenges, it's incredibly important to keep learning. By expanding your skills, you'll not only get better at that new job or new career, but you'll also feel more confident and make it harder for imposter syndrome to rear its ugly little head. And let's be frank. If you've reached the point where you're watching these videos, deep down, no matter how much you are doubting yourself, you have the skills to change career, because you wouldn't be investing the time to watch videos about changing career if you didn't have another passion or something that you could move to going forwards. Deep down, no matter how much you are doubting yourself, the skills are there. They have to be, or you wouldn't even be looking to go down this path. Did I think I would become a programmer 1 week into coding? No. I started contemplating my move once I had a couple of apps in the App Store and had done a little freelance gig and realized that I did have the professional skills to take it to the next level. Once you start meeting people that are in your next niche, it will help you understand that you know more than you think, and it will help you focus your learning on parts that are genuinely important to that next step. Because it's very, very hard if you are spending your entire professional career with, say, pilots, and you want to get a gauge of where you are professionally in flower arranging. If you're not interacting with people in that next niche, it's very hard to gauge where you are on your story, whether you're still at the beginning or whether you are reaching that second act and can start really upping your game. Imposter syndrome really can torture your emotions and make you question yourself, but hopefully now you have a couple of strategies to help dampen down its effect on your life. So address your fears, continue learning, and keep marching towards that career change. As always, thank you to everyone that has subscribed. As of today, it is the 30th of October. There's 78 subscribers, and I appreciate you all. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing it. And if you are subscribed, consider hitting the notification bell so that you will get notified every Tuesday when these videos drop. So get in touch in the comments, or feel free to come contact us, the big professional operation. Contact me at CEO Pod on Instagram. This has been Career Ending Opportunities. I've been Simon Knapp. Thanks for stopping by. I'll speak to you again soon.